What's going on, Mets fans? This is your host of the Morning Beer Podcast, Durville Davis, and I've been away for a pretty long time. Decided to drop a video today. Wanted to get back into my Mets and talking about our New York Mets and everything. I decided to do a video when Carlos Correa signing first took place, but had editing problems, so I was coming out of retirement then. I was in semi-retirement because I just had a baby over 1 month ago. Well, me and my girl had a baby, and she's 1 month I was about to say 1 month old, 1 month old, and she's doing well, and where I haven't slept in a month, so and I have been off of work, so I've just been here and trying to get acclimated to being a dad again. So I haven't had a child in 23 years, so it's kind of like it's just me being all over the place right now, and me trying to not focusing on the channel as much, but wanting to get back into doing this. And here I am today wearing my Giants jersey because we had a great win in the playoffs yesterday, beating Minnesota. I predicted that win, and we're going on to Philly next week, and I feel like we're going to win there too. But on to the Mets, and why you clicked on the video. And by the way, gotta mention the co-hosts are here, so if you hear them barking, here's one right there, and the other one is somewhere in the living room lurking around. So if you hear them barking, that's only my co-host. Don't worry. Don't be scared. So anyway, New York Mets. And right now is a great opportunity for us to solidify ourselves as one of the top 3 teams to beat in the National League. Maybe top 4, with the Dodgers still being relevant, San Diego being a team to deal with, and of course Atlanta. We can't not forget about Philadelphia Phillies. They are the defending National League champs. However, I have them 5th on that list. But to get ourselves in the upper echelon, much higher, get over the Dodgers, get over the Padres who beat us in the playoffs, and to get over the Atlanta Braves who snuck in there and won the division, what can we do to separate ourselves from the pack? So let's recap the offseason and all the moves that we made and everything. One, I was going to do a video when we lost DeGrom, but like I said, I was going through the pregnancy with my girl, and it was a high-risk pregnancy, so I didn't have time to dedicate towards doing this. So today I did, because my girl went out with my daughter, so I have a little bit of time to do a video. So let's recap the offseason. Pretty much, as you know, we lost DeGrom. That was a major hit, but what I knew with losing DeGrom will start a flood of moves from Steve Cohen. And I know it just seems like that's what happened. It started with Verlander, started with Singer, all the rumored players we were supposed to get and rumored to get, we did end up signing them. Got Nemo, re-signed Diaz first. That was the first domino to fall. Went and got Ottavino, Robertson. Got a lot of players. Quintana. Got a lot of players to solidify our starting pitching staff. Solidify our bullpen. There's still some moves we could make in the bullpen, I believe. We traded for Raley. We didn't have to give up much to get him. Seems like we don't want to trade any top prospects to get players. Understandable, to make your minor league system top notch. However, what's the point of having these players if they're not going to play on your major league roster, and you're not trading them for players that can play on your major league roster? At some point, we're going to have to make some of these moves with players like Ventos and Ronnie Mauricio and so on and so forth. We went ahead and got Navarez to catch and got rid of McCann's, so that was a great move in my opinion, because he's one thing, he could be a mentor to Alvarez because they're both from Venezuela, and they're both catchers, they both speak the same language. Navarez is a great framer, good defensive player, good hitter, was a former All-Star. Same thing was with McCann. When we got him, he was also removed 1 year from being an All-Star. However, didn't work in New York. What Navarez will bring is more of a mentorship to platoon with Nito, and then when Alvarez is ready to play, Navarez will be there to help him move into that position. And he's a veteran catcher to deal with a veteran pitching staff like with Quintana, with somebody like Singer, with Verlander and Scherzer. So we're good there. We might even have Carrasco to be our number 5, or we might end up trading him. I'm fine with him being there. I'm fine with us trading him and sliding in Peterson or McGill, or even so one of those other players we traded for from Miami. However, there are some moves that still could be made to help us solidify ourselves as a top 5, top 3, maybe number 1 team in the National League. Now, that move was made in December 21st when we got Carlos Correa. With that move, I think we had the best lineup. I think we had the best infield defense, barring Alonso at first. I think we had the best overall team, right? Then one thing I have to criticize my franchise and my team, and I feel like since we had Cohen as the ownership, we haven't had incompetent moves, and since we had Epler at the helm, we haven't had much incompetent moves like we had with the Wilpons and the Brody Van Wagenens. However, one move I felt that made no sense was going ahead and using the same ankle specialist. And if this is true from Boris and Carlos Correa, if this is true, then this is just nonsensical and made no sense in signing and teasing us Mets fans like this, and going ahead and losing out on some other players that we could have signed besides Correa. In that whole 20-day process when you're trying to figure out, all right, is he going to sign? Is he going to rework the contract? Are we going to, be able to sign this guy and put him on the team? We lost out on some players that signed elsewhere. So it really didn't see the sense in it. Did we get more season tickets being sold? Yes, of course. You just signed one of the top, if not the top shortstop in baseball, to play third base along with the top shortstop in baseball in Lindor. You sold us that, and with that we bought more season tickets. I didn't buy one because I have a kid now, so it's going to be hard for me to spend. I have to watch on TV and everything, and plus I live an hour and a half away from Citi Field. But it did show us what could potentially happen next year. That's the plus from it, right? However, it showed us the LOL Mets, and I really don't like that stigma in my franchise, and I really don't like the way it went down. It really made me uncomfortable. It really made me feel like this is, I'm glad we stuck by our guns and didn't go ahead and not say waste money, but invest in a player that could potentially break down in 5 years in a 12-year contract or 6 years down the line. Right, I think Minnesota got a great deal by just only signing him for 6 years. Minnesota is the winner of the offseason so far with that move, right? It made no sense getting the same ankle specialist to, check him out. However, that move, that was a move. We lost out on him. Minnesota got him. Wish him the best over there. However, we have to move on from that. And our third base situation now comes down to Escobar and Beatty. Beatty has potential to play other positions. He could play left field to platoon him with Canna. However, right now they're still looking for a 4th outfielder, and Beatty won't be the 4th outfielder. He could just play left field like he did in the minor leagues. So the 4 outfielder potentials that's out there still are Tommy Pham, as of today. Tommy Pham, Adam Duvall, who won a Gold Glove, and he could play all 3 outfield positions. Tommy Pham, who could also play the both corners. And Jurickson Profar, who I said earlier in the postseason or earlier in the offseason, this is a player I want potentially to platoon in left field. Switching him back to put with Canna, he could play all 3 of those outfield positions. Rest Marte, Marte might not play 20 to 30 games a season. He's a perfect speed, a little bit of power, poor man's Sterling Marte. Doesn't hit for the average like Marte does, but he could play out there and a little bit younger. And he could play out there and he potentially slot in, and even slot in on an infield. He came up as a top prospect in baseball when he came up with Texas, playing in second base and shortstop position. So he could even be a little DH when the days when Vogelback is playing against a left-hander. You could utilize his speed. And I like the way the team is being built. It's not being built on power, even though we could go ahead and get the power bat in the potentially in the trade deadline. However, I like the speed aspect that we have with this team. The fact we got players that could run, could take an extra base, hit singles, doubles, so on and so forth. Didn't work for us last year, but I feel potentially another year into this lineup, we could get a lot better. All right. There's also the potential of Adam Duvall. Now, if I had to pick between the three players out there and you can only get one, I was hoping we could potentially get two. I would have to go with Profar because of his versatility. If I had to say a close second, I'll probably say Duvall because his power potential, his all-star potential, because he was, he wasn't an all-star, but he was a gold glover, but he did lead the league in RBIs 2 years removed, and he did hit 38 home runs, and he had 3 seasons of 30 home runs. Of course, two of it being in Cincinnati, a bandbox, but this guy has raw power. He showed it in Miami and in Atlanta when he hit 38 home runs in 2021. Had an off season last year. This guy is swing and miss for the most part. He would strike out a ton. If he plays regularly, he's going to strike out 150 times. He's going to leave people on base. But he also has a great boom potential, which is something that we don't have in this line besides Alonso. And some nights, Lindor. So Duvall sounds good. If I had to pick between him and Pham, I'm definitely going Duvall. Pham might be a little bit of a head case in the locker room, and with players like Scherzer and guys that's already alphas in there, you probably don't want to put another one in there. So you kind of want to leave Pham in there after he slapped the crap out of Peterson for his fantasy league trade last year. You probably want to keep him out the locker room, even though I would take a Tommy Pham because he did play in Tampa Bay when they went to a World Series, and he could play for a winner, and he is a good player. But a little bit up there, 35 years of age, I'm looking more towards a Duvall and a Profar, who both are younger. Duvall's about 34 and Profar is about 29 going on 30. But besides that, if you want to look at a platoon at DH for Vogelback, because I think that's the only two positions. We're good at third base. Carrera would have been a more of a luxury piece, right? And then we could have moved Escobar to DH or trade him or something. But third base was already solid because we could have Beatty there for the future, and we already have Escobar one more year on an expiring contract. What could we do? As far as openings, it will be a platoon with Canna in left field. It will be a platoon with Vogelback at DH. So what's the potential for the right-handed side of the DH? I have my eyes on a guy that's a free agent. We don't have to trade for him. He's a free agent, 39 years old. I know it's a little bit old. Won a band title 2 years ago in the American League, 2021. Won 2 championships already with the Houston Astros. Could play first base on the pinch and play potentially Gold Glove first base. But right now, I think he slots more as a hitter than a DH, and still wants to play at 39 years old. And Yuli Gurriel. Why am I pronouncing his name incorrectly? Yuli Gurriel at first base. You could put him at DH as a platoon player at 39 years old. The platoon with Vogelback at DH. He's a professional bat that could drive in runs. We're not asking you for 600 at-bats throughout the year. We might be asking you for 350. And I think a former band champion, a year removed, could drive in 50 runs platooning that DH and only giving us 350 at-bats. And I think that will be good enough. It's not a boom player where he's going to hit you 30 home runs. You might get 10 out of him. But it's going to be a quality, good 10 at-bats, and it's going to match well with this team as far as taking walks, as far as looking at pitches, as far as keeping the chain moving, keeping the base pads moving. And I feel we can get him on a cheap 1-year contract. Don't have to give him more than something with Andrew McCutchen guy. He got about 1 year, $5 million to go back to Pittsburgh, when the Mets offered him 1 year, $7 million. We could give him that $7 million to Gurriel, and then possibly sign a 4 outfielder still in Duvall or Profar to play in platoon in left field with Connor. Reason why Duvall could platoon still with Connor is because Connor had reverse splits, even though he's a right-hander. Duvall mashes against lefties, whereas kind of hits righties better. So you can have two right-handers playing in left field. Duvall could play all three outfield positions. So I prefer Profar, but I'll be happy with Duvall if we could also sign Yuli Gurriel to play DH, platoon DH. With the money we save from Carrera, which is roughly around, 27, 30 million a year, we go ahead and sign Gurriel for 7 million, 5 to 7 million. We go ahead and sign Duvall for 7 million. That's 14 right there, right? I still think we got moves that we can make with the bullpen, and there's still Andrew Chafin that's out there, and he's always been, even though we got a left-handed pitcher in Raley, he's always been somebody that made sense for the Mets, and I believe we could go ahead and get Chafin, put him in the bullpen. We have two lefties now, but Chafin. But see, this left-handed, right-handed thing don't matter no more because you have to face a minimum of 3 batters once you're in. So your lefty will be facing a right-hander potentially in 2 of those spots, or maybe even all 3 if they pinch hit. So why not get a lefty that could get both right-handers and left-handers out, which Chafin could do? He's a high-leverage reliever, looking for a longer contract than he got. He opted out of his 2-year contract with Detroit. Maybe we could sign him for a 2-3-year contract, roughly around 12 million a year. With that money that we saved on Carrera, we went ahead and signed Yuli Gurriel, winning player. Duvall, who already won a chip. Chafin, who's high leverage. You could sign these 3 players instead of Carrera. I think we still make ourselves one of the top teams to beat in the whole entire National League, if not all baseball. Besides those moves being made, I also believe a Darren Ruff should either be DFA'd at some point if he doesn't do well in spring training. If we can't trade him at all right now, maybe package him with Carrasco or something. But I do believe we do to make these moves, we do have to get Darren Ruff off the team also. But I just want to drop this video. I want to keep it under 20 minutes. We have 17 minutes. I just want to review our off-season and pretty much talk about potential moves that still could be made. Remember, pitching and catching is only like a few weeks away, roughly a month away, 4 weeks away from now. So we still could tweak this team a little bit, all right? I'm going to leave you with that. This was your host of the Morning Beer Podcast, DeGrom Davis. Please like, subscribe, share, and tell a friend. And talk to you later. Let's go Mets. Peace.